Hey guys, in this video I'm going to tell you step by step how to become a tax preparer. I'm a bookkeeper who actually does not prepare taxes at this point, but it is definitely something I've thought about, and it really seemed to be a topic that you guys had a lot of questions about and were really interested in. So I did a ton of research and I talked to my friend Amy, who just became a tax preparer. So I'm going to give you all of the information that you need. Definitely give this video a thumbs up if you're excited about it, and check out my website FinePoints.biz, and I will have a printable with all this information linked in my description box below this video, because I know it's a ton to process, so there'll be links and stuff that will help you out in that. Did I already say it's free? It's free printable. Alright, so first I'm just going to go through the 5 steps of how to become a tax preparer, then I'm going to dig into my friend's case. I'm going to let you know how much it cost for her to become a tax preparer, what her schedule looks like, and all that good stuff. Step number 1 is you have to take a course. Step number 2 is you need to apply to the overall state board to take the test. Number 3, you have to pass this 3-hour exam, and this is all within Oregon. It could vary state to state. Number 3, you have to pay for and apply for your PTIN number, which is your tax preparer number for the IRS. Number 4, you have to get a license. Number 5, you actually have to get a job, so you have to get hired by someone, and you may have already had a job lined up when you first started your training. And then every year you need to do continuing education. So where I live, it's 30 hours of continuing education. So I'm going to go through each of those steps and tell you what Amy thought of each step of the process. So first of all, meet my friend Amy. We were neighbors about 10 years ago, and then she reached back out to me because she wanted to start bookkeeping. So I answered some of her questions, kind of helped her get going just a little bit. And as she was doing some research, she came across the tax preparer idea. So she actually saw on Craigslist an ad for H&R Block. And I guess they're doing a lot of recruiting this time of year, so the end of summer and the fall, because they're getting everyone trained and ready for next tax season. So about a year ago, she talked to her recruiter and she got signed up for the H&R Block training program. So again, this is all that step 1, she's doing her training. So she did 80 hours of classroom time, and that took her about 3 months. And then the 4th month, which I think was December, she was studying for the test. So she had a goal to finish her test before Christmas. And I emailed Amy to ask her what the total was for her whole process. This is the number that she told me. I don't know it off the top of my head yet, but this is including the training, the exam, and the licensing. And she did say that because she was communicating with her company beforehand, they were able to subsidize some of the cost of the training. And they did not guarantee her a job upon completion, but that is a really good tip if you guys want to speak with a company that you'll be working for ahead of time, and then they might help you out with some of that training cost. And I am trying to talk Amy into doing some mentoring to some of you guys. So all of her information is going to be in the description box. This is her email on the screen. So definitely reach out to her. I'm not sure if she's going to have like a paid coaching program or anything like that, or if she'll just do it more casually, but definitely hit her up because she's a great resource. So after Amy did that 3 months and completed her course, she got a certification, a little certification that says you did the training, and then you need to apply to the tax practitioner board in order to take the exam. They just want to make sure that you're legit, that you did some training, and you're not just going into this exam blind. And Amy sent me this link to the Oregon website that has tons of information about the tax preparing laws in Oregon. So this is a screenshot of what it looks like for my state. I bet you can find the same thing for your state, and there's going to be so many resources. There's also this PDF that you can download that has the answers to tons of questions as well. There is a lot of information to wade through, so that's why I tried to break it up and make it as clear as possible into these 5 steps that you need to do. All right, the next thing you have to do is pass the exam. So this is a 3-hour exam, and you need to have a 75% pass rate in order to pass it. And again, I looked on the website and I was shocked at the pass-fail rates. So I would not take this lightly. I would study hard for this. And Amy told me she could have some approved notes. There were certain regulations about what you could bring into the test, but it was a little bit of an open book test. Another resource I wanted to mention is my favorite bookkeeper program, which is called Bookkeeper Launch, has a tax preparing whole course that teaches you how to open a tax preparing business. So this class is very, very thorough, and it is an investment, but really they do an unparalleled job with their customer service. So you have unlimited email support. Anytime you have questions, you can get those answered. I'll have more info in my description box, some links. I think they have a little free test class that you can check out. So if that does interest you, that would be a great option as well. All right, moving on, then you need to apply for your tax preparer number, your PTIN number, which stands for Preparer Tax Identification Number. It varies state to state on how much it costs. In my state, it's $60. And there's a little application process on the IRS website. All the links are going to be in that free printable that you can download from my description box. All right, next you have to apply for and pay for a license. This one is $85, I believe, and it's just a form you fill out, and you have to have your PTIN number before you do this. And then of course you need to find a job. You need to find a place to work. Depending on where you live, you might be able to get your own tax clients, or you might need more certifications. If you haven't already watched my video about the different types of tax preparers, the thumbnail looks like this. That's actually part 1 to this video. So find a job. Like I said, Amy had already been recruited by H&R Block as she was going through this process. So they didn't guarantee her a job, but she was able to get hired there. And I'm going to talk about what her job looks like, but I did want to mention to be a tax preparer, you need to do continuing education every year. So I believe that's 30 hours where I live. And then you also need to pay and reapply for the license. If you have a bookkeeping business or something similar, you know, usually there's like an annual fee to keep up your business license. It's just part of, you know, being a business and earning an income that way. All right, so I want to talk a little bit about Amy's experience working for H&R Block. So she did mention, compared to being a bookkeeper, it may be a bit of a pay cut when you're first starting out, but the advantages are there's a ton of opportunity for growth, and they really set you up and support you. Whereas I've talked about this with bookkeeping before, one of the hardest things for me personally is that I didn't really have a support system. I didn't really have anyone training me, or I didn't know where to go to ask questions. So I do try to like help you guys out with that. But because she was working at H&R Block, this was not a problem. So with her job, there's different levels of certification. So she actually has a baby. So when her baby's sleeping, she is able to do a lot of this training and certification and move up within the company. And then eventually she probably wants to be an enrolled agent or maybe a CPA. So she's definitely like looking at those options in the future. And with H&R Block, when they first start you out, you work in the office. And Amy was like, that was the best thing that could have happened to me, because you are there working with clients, and then if you have a question, you can go ask like a supervisor, or ask help from one of your colleagues. But now Amy has enough experience that she is able to work remotely from home. So she does Zoom calls with clients and is able to do tax preparing that way. So I thought that was really interesting, because it's like, kind of like the best of both worlds. Like, you get trained by someone, but then you can work remotely and have really flexible hours. And she said they asked her, when does she want to work? So she had a ton of flexibility in choosing her hours, and for her it was nights and weekends, so she could stay home with her kid, with her baby, and then she could do this work when her husband was watching the baby. So she said it's incredibly flexible. Obviously it's very busy in that seasonal work during tax time. Some other notes that I thought were helpful is that she said it's a great way to get clients for your bookkeeping business. So this was kind of like my thinking whenever I think about tax preparing, like, okay, you can like use it to get clients, because you know, you're working with these people for a few hours, and then if they like you and you do a good job and they trust you, then they can definitely hire you for more of a long-term situation. And she said, similar to bookkeeping, it's good for like kind of that side hustle community. So if you're retired and you want some extra money, if you're, you know, it's your first job out of college, if you're a parent, if you want to stay home with a kid, like any of those type of people that want to do some really flexible seasonal work, this is a great fit. She also said she had previous retail experience that really helped her with just that customer service aspect of working with clients. Other notes that she had that you might want to consider is, because it's a seasonal work, you don't get benefits like dental and medical. For the most part, it could depend on your job. And then I kind of said this before, but in some states, once you have a certain amount of experience, then you can kind of go out on your own and work for your own tax preparing clients. So check what the rules are in your state for that. All right, I'm just looking at my notes here, and I also have a list of some of the tax preparation like schools that you can go to, or different resources for that. So, oh my gosh, that was a lot of information. I'm like seriously tired from going through all of that, but I really hope you found this helpful. Let me know in the comments if I messed anything up. I'm not an expert in this. I really just did research to try to be as helpful as possible to you guys. Don't forget to download that free printable and subscribe to my channel. Give me this video a thumbs up and stay tuned next week for my next video. All right, thank you guys for watching and take care. Bye.